What's up, everyone? Welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and all that kind of stuff. And as usual, we'll be checking out some more Reddit posts today. So be sure to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments, and we're getting right into it. 90% of my job is reading on-screen prompts for people because they saw words and gave up. I work in tech support. Kid brings me his laptop saying he's trying to launch a program, but a pop-up keeps blocking it. The pop-up says, "This program cannot launch while other program is running. Close other program and try again." I ask the kid, "What happened when you tried that?" He gets embarrassed and says, "Oh, I didn't." So I have him close the other program and try again. Magically, the problem goes away. A woman comes over and says she's trying to log into a desktop, but it's not working. I walk over and take a look, having her type in her username and password. She does so, and a pop-up says, "Password must be changed. Click continue to change password." She says, "See, this keeps happening. I don't know what to do." I say as politely as I can, "Well, see here it says to change your password, so let's do that." I click continue for her. Box 1, enter new password. Box 2, confirm new password. She is confused by the two boxes. What do I do? I had to point to each sentence before she would read them. A girl comes over and says the printer won't release her job. I walk over to look at it. She enters her password and the queue opens, displaying her print job. Then she stands there. See, it won't do anything. I click the button that says print. Her job releases. She is embarrassed. Please just read. Please read things on your screen before freaking out. A customer found my home, rang my doorbell for half an hour, and left when the cops arrived. I, 27 female, work in the cannabis industry, and this man has been a customer of mine for 4+ years. Our interactions have been very tame. He walks in, buys his pre-roll, and walks out. He is about 3 years younger than me, doesn't have a job, lives with his mom, and doesn't have a car, so he walks everywhere. Last Thursday, he came around to buy as usual. About 5 minutes later, he comes back and says, "Do you mind if I sit down? It's just really hot out there." I didn't mind because the heat index was around 104 degrees and I was being polite. I gave him a drink and told him to rest until he was ready to leave. He was wearing a jacket in the middle of a heat wave. He ended up staying for an hour just chatting about random things like the economy, Ozzy Osbourne's death, things going on in his life. It wasn't until he started talking about trying to find a girl to go to the fair with, take on hikes, etc. did I find his being there suspicious. He seemed like a really socially awkward guy, and in the 4 years he's been coming to the shop, I never felt threatened by him. I made it pretty clear that I'm working on myself, that I'm going back to school, working out at the gym, and focusing on myself. I told him if he was looking for a girl, he should try Hinge or Tinder, because I've had luck finding last-minute dates there. I basically kicked him out and said, "Well, it's been nice talking to you, but I have to use the restroom." Before he left, he turned to me and asked if I was working on Saturday. I told him no, and then he asked me to the fair. I said, "No, I'm sorry, I already have plans." Fast forward to around 9:30 p.m. this evening. I was doing laundry sitting on the couch when my doorbell rings. We live in condos, and normally people come to the back door where the parking lot is. The doorbell ringing is extremely abnormal. I didn't really think much of it. I thought maybe someone had ordered food and it got delivered to the wrong house. I put a load of laundry in and got into the shower. While I was in the shower, I heard someone pounding on the front door. I basically ignored it because I'm not getting out of my shower to answer it. But when I finally got out of the shower, my doorbell was ringing incessantly. Ding, 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 pound, 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 ding, ding, ding. I call my mom because I'm freaking out and I'm thinking there might be an emergency in the neighborhood. But my neighbors know me, have my number, and would have come to the back door. She's on the phone with me and she hears this racket too. My dog is raising hell and there is someone very eager for me to open the door. I peek through the blinds of my spare bedroom and lo and behold, there is my customer. The customer who asked me out and I rejected. He's been there about 20 minutes now trying to get me to open the door. I live really close to work, within walking distance. He must have followed me home after work or seen me walking my dog in the neighborhood. Who knows how long he's been tracking my movements, but he's at my house on a Sunday night banging on my door and ringing my doorbell nonstop. I text my neighbor, who is basically like a mom to me, and she's at my house in seconds. We're at the back door, still hearing the doorbell and the pounding on the door. I'm shaking from head to toe, I'm disoriented because I don't know what the hell is going on, and she calls the cops for me. The cops are there within 5 minutes. From the time the last knock/ring sounded to the time the cops arrived was maybe 3 minutes. He must have booked it as soon as he saw the patrol officer. I give my statement to the police, tell them about Thursday, and tell them that my customer has been banging on my door for over half an hour. They call more squad cars to patrol the other neighborhoods. But after 4+ years of having this customer, I don't know his name. I have literally no idea who this guy is and what he wants from me. How long has he known where I live? How long has he been stalking me? What was his motive for ringing my doorbell for half an hour so late at night? Did he want to hurt me? Did he want to kill me? I don't know. All I did was tell him I was busy and I couldn't go to the fair with him, sorry. I ended up calling my friend and she's letting me crash at her place tonight, but I'm so uncomfortable about going home. I live alone with my dog and I don't want to move, but if I cannot figure out this guy's name, there is nothing I can do legally. It's 3 a.m. now and I'm combing through all our security footage, transaction history, literally anything that can give me a hint at who he is. He told me he got fired from JCPenney, but I am not sure they will divulge his information to me. I am trying to gather enough evidence that the cops can track him down without his name. I'm so terrified. I cannot sleep, cannot eat, cannot fathom going back to the house I call a home knowing this man infiltrated my life with such demand. How will I ever go back to work? What am I to do? I had plans. I had ambitions to leave this job, but I am now faced with the choice of leaving now or potentially putting myself in danger. Update. I'd like to clarify a few things from my last post that a lot of people had questions about. Although I work in the cannabis industry, I operate in a non-legal state, meaning I only have to scan IDs and not save the person's information each time they make a purchase. THCA and Delta-9 are regulated just like alcohol in my state, so I was unable to get the person's information solely from his ID. It's been a month, so I'd like to update everyone on how I'm doing, what has happened since, and what I'm doing legally to protect myself. And as a quick side note, just to elaborate a bit more on what OP means about cannabis dispensaries operating in a non-legal state like Tennessee, as OP did mention in the comments that they're in the state of Tennessee. Here's what I'm able to find about cannabis laws in Tennessee and why dispensaries are able to operate there. The dispensaries are operating legally by taking advantage of loopholes. From my understanding from just some quick research is that it's because the dispensaries sell hemp-derived cannabinoids, like THCA and Delta-9 as OP mentioned, instead of actual THC-based products derived from marijuana. So it's more or less just a legal loophole about the differentiation between hemp and marijuana, and the different kinds of cannabinoids associated with them. The product they sell in Tennessee, though, will still get you high. Anyway, just wanted to clear up some confusion there. Moving on though, OP says, I won't go into much detail, but I was able to find the person's information through our security camera and Square Business Portal. I found a time where he used a credit card, and since he was a loyalty member with us, his name was attached to the account. I paid for a background check and was able to find a full name and address, which I gave to the police, as well as all the security camera footage I had on the day he asked me out and I refused. All the evidence was sent to the police and compiled into an evidence folder. The police officers visited his home, asked him questions about the night that he came to my house and knocked on my door for half an hour. On body camera, he admitted to coming to my house, and his excuse was that she sold me gummies that made me high for 5 days. Like, that's not an excuse for coming to my home at 9:30 at night. I assure you, if there was a THC gummy in a non-legal state that made you high for 5 days, no one would be able to keep them on the shelf. This was enough for the cops to allow me to press charges of harassment against him. In order for him to make bail, he had to sign a bond condition stating that he would not come to my house or my place of business. If he broke that bond condition, he would be rearrested and charged with aggravated stalking. Which is exactly what happened today. After almost a month of not seeing this person, I saw him walking in front of my store. I didn't think much of it, although it did frighten me. I continued to help customers and did my job. He was not approaching the building, and there was no reason to lose my cool over just seeing him. That is, until he walked by again. I ended up locking the door and watching his movement from the window. He turned a corner and I figured, okay, he's leaving, it's nothing to worry about. I unlocked the door to resume business. I was sitting down at the computer when all of a sudden he enters the shop and sits down in one of our waiting chairs. I wasn't paying attention to the outside, so he came out of nowhere and shocked me. I say to him calmly at first, "You need to leave or I am calling the cops." And he replies, "Why?" I just kept repeating myself and he keeps saying, Why? I finally reach for the phone and I am now screaming at him to leave. "Get the f out of here, I'm calling the cops." What irked me the most is not that he had the audacity to violate his bond condition and come to my store, but that he kept saying my first name, like, "Please, blank, don't call the cops, blank, why? I didn't even know his name until I pressed charges against him, and he acted like we were friends. Like he had every right to be at my place of business and that I wouldn't call the cops on him again, because we had some sort of relationship. It all happened so quickly, and when he finally left, I locked the door again and proceeded to have a full-blown panic attack. I don't know if anyone else has experienced a panic attack, but it felt like someone had dunked my head underwater and I couldn't breathe. My entire body was shaking from head to toe and I was sobbing. I called the owner and he came shortly after. We phoned the police and they did exactly what they said they would do. I had to pull the security camera footage from the event and hand it over to the cops. They gathered another warrant out for his arrest and charged him with aggravated stalking, trespassing, and violation of a bond. He will have a GPS monitor attached to him if he makes bail again, and I will be notified if he comes anywhere near my place of work or home. They will also call me to notify me if he is bailed out. I will be filing an order of protection in the morning. I did not previously file one because I was under the impression that he would not come back after the bond condition. Lesson learned. I've installed security cameras at the front and back of my house, have notified all my neighbors and the surrounding businesses by my work to be on the lookout for him. I truly was getting better. I was focusing on my mental health, playing a whole bunch of Animal Crossing, working out daily, and focusing on treating myself with kindness. But after today, it's like I've been transported to day one all over again. I start a technical course on Monday, which will hopefully get me out of retail, but for now I have to continue to work at my job and provide myself an income. I'd just like to say to all the men and women out there dealing with the customer who is a bit too friendly or has made advances towards you, to never take these things lightly. Please learn from my experience that no matter how long you've had a customer, how many times you've interacted with them, that they may have ulterior motives. I never thought he would come back, but he did. I genuinely thought the next time I would see him is at his court hearing when I testified, but he threw away his life today by trusting me not to call the cops. I will not apologize for protecting myself. He had it coming to him. I'm more angry than anything, but I'm eternally grateful that the local police have made an effort to keep this individual away from me. Please take care of yourself and trust your gut when it comes to people that are suspicious. No one should have to go through what I'm going through, and it's all because I refused to go on a date with the customer. Alright guys, that's going to be all for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Reddit content like this. So I'm out of here, take care and I'll see you next time.